What's up, guys? I am here to bring you a very unique video, but it's something from the past. Now, it's crazy to think that it's been about 10 years that I've done a Heroclix video. If I remember correctly, my last Heroclix video, as you can see by the shirt, my last Heroclix video was done on October 25th, 2012. And it's been quite a while. But we don't have to wait much longer anymore, because I am finally going to be opening, for the first time ever in about 10 years, a Heroclix Fast Forces. And we'll be looking at the Heroclix Captain America and the Avengers Fast Forces. Before we begin, what exactly is Heroclix? Well, you might say it is a game for smart, attractive people. Or better yet, it's like chess, but with superpowers. And it is a miniatures game. And it's best conceptualized, I guess, as a game in which you pretty much use the clicking dial that's on every figure, and you try to knock them down up to their KO dial. And how do you do that? Well, you pretty much give action tokens. You get into combat. I'll try as best as I can to explain it once I show you guys the actual click styles and like the powers and abilities. And of course, those powers and abilities best reflect the comic book character that's featured. But it's not just relegated to comic book characters. They have done other licenses as well. Star Trek, WWE, Yu-Gi-Oh! They actually their own sub licenses like Mage Knight. They once at one point in time did something called Heroclix and Action Clicks, but they usually went by different rules. But the whole point is that you pretty much play on a board, on a map with a grid, and each grid counts as spaces. So, your character has a set amount of movement on it. They can move around. They could set actions to attack the other person. They could deal damage, and the damage dealt is how many clicks you got to turn to the I think it's counterclockwise. You turn them counterclockwise, and once it reaches the KO dial, well, that character is out of there. And the whole point of the game is pretty much a what if type of scenario. It lends itself a lot to kind of like these fantastic battles that could probably never happen in comics, especially since the two biggest brands that they have is Marvel and DC. So it lends itself pretty well to having Marvel characters versus DC characters. But at one point in time, they were really big on the whole indie comic scene as well. Um, and Yeah, I was really big on the game 10 years ago. Fortunately, life got in the way, and I kind of had to drop out of the game. And I still have a bunch of my older figures, and for the most part, most of those older figures are just little mini statues at this point. I don't think they could really be used in competitive play. I know when I was still playing, like the meta was Nightcrawler and Metron, and I actually have those pieces, but I don't think that's the meta anymore. I really don't know what the meta is. I know this though is still in Golden Age. If you guys don't know what that, I mean, it's still in Modern Age. There's two designations. It's kind of like Modern Age and Golden Age. And pretty much Modern Age is what you could play at this point in time. It's kind of like Magic's the Gathering. That Magic's the Gathering has a certain set that you could use for tournaments. It's tournament legal for that point. But anything that's a little bit older off of a set time limit, you can't use it anymore. So I know Captain America and the Avengers is still fairly modern age, so these are pieces that are still in play to this day, or potentially could be used in play. Because, like I said, I don't really understand the meta anymore to the game. But yeah, so before we get started, just nice packaging. Fast Forces packaging has always been great. I want to say my favorite of all the packagings for the Fast Forces, I think, was probably the Blackest Night set way back in 2010. It was just fantastic. The whole it was kind of like a bubble on it, but it also had like a cardboard backing where like a lot of the goodies were located in. I don't think this Fast Forces is gonna come with dice, and dice is a big component of the game as well. So pretty much, in order to initiate combat, you do have a certain attack value, and your opponent has a defense value. But the whole difference maker in that is the roll of a dice. And pretty much what you're trying to do if you're attacking is you're trying to get more than the defense has. So let's say their defense is 18, and you have a character that has an attack power of 11. You're trying to roll 7 or above in order to get to that. You're trying to roll 8 or above in order to actually have one more. So if their defense is 18 and you have 11 attack, you're trying to roll 8 or more in order to have the 19. Because I think if it's both equal, 18 and 18, it cancels itself out and you can't really deal damage. But if you were to roll 19, if you were to roll an 8 or a 9 or a 10 right off the bat, you pretty much deal the damage that's indicated on your click base. And I guess once I get to that, it's gonna make more sense. It's gonna make more sense. But yeah, so let's open this up. I already got the knife here. I got the knife. So let's see. All right. And I guess I gotta cut carefully here. I don't want to cut myself. There we go. All right. So, and let's see. Okay. So here are the cards. I guess they don't come. I guess this Fast Forces is kind of sparse. It doesn't really come with a powers and abilities card or dice. I know there's other Fast Forces, and I think the ones that come with power and abilities cards are called starter sets. But I should really look to see if I could get a starter set. I just to show you guys, but pretty much you do place tokens on your character, and I think it's action tokens. You place one action token, and then you need to actually let them rest unless they have powers that indicate that they could actually push. And by pushing, meaning that they could take 2 action tokens, because normally you get punished for taking 2 action tokens. It's very complicated, but usually a lot of characters now in the game, they kind of ignore that. They have either Indomitable or they have other things that prevents them from pretty much dealing the damage. And here are the cards. And I know one of the biggest differences, and it's very debated, one of the biggest differences that's new to the game is the fact that back in my day, you did have an ability card that kind of gave a synopsis of your characters, of their powers, especially the white border powers, because the white border powers are specific to the characters, because they're trying to make it much more specific to the actual characters. Before, you had these colored powers that would vary, and they would try to get the idea of the character, but they could only go so far. So they started developing these white powers that are a bit more specific to the character itself. And for a while that worked, and there were also these things called traits, meaning that it's something that can't be countered, because there is this power called Outwit that could counter a specific colored power, including the whites, the white border powers. But if it has the trait, which is this little star right here on the card, that can't be countered that well. That can't be outwitted. So yeah, that's how I remember the rules. If I botched it, oh well, I haven't played this game in like 8-9 years, so I really have no idea. And the cards, here we go. And the biggest notable difference on the cards is the fact that back in the day, the cards didn't have this. They did not have the actual click space. So as you can see there, right here's a click. So you would start on click number 1, and Isaiah Bradley right here, he has 4 clicks. And so once he reaches like 5 damage, he gets into the KO point, and that's when he is knocked out of the game. And what a perfect chance to start it off, especially given now that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the show right now on the Marvel show now, at least that's being shown, and it's a great show. And one of the characters that gets spotlighted, spoiler alert, is Isaiah Bradley, which I'm not gonna get too much into it because I don't want to spoil it, but they shows a significant comic book appearance right there, which is Truth, Red, White, and Black #1, and that was in 2003. And of course, it actually says Isaiah Bradley. He was a Captain America, hence the attire. He has keywords, which is past and soldier, and you could always match up those keywords with in your teams, and actually get perks and bonuses for that. And of course, he has his real name, because normally their aliases is like a superhero name or whatever. But and that's the trait right there, Living Legend. The first time each game Isaiah Bradley would be KO'd, instead turn him to his last non-KO click, then roll a d6 and heal him equal to half the result, and he's protected from post wave. And that, oh wow, that's an amazing ability. So if he were to be knocked out, you could roll a dice, and if you literally roll a 6, you pretty much could heal him back all the way back to his original one. Yeah, you would heal him back to his starting click. So that's it's a pretty amazing ability. His powers are he also has colossal stamina, meaning his stamina is that of a super soldier. Colossal stamina, meaning his stamina is equal to a colossal piece in Heroclix, and if I remember correctly, colossal pieces in Heroclix can push without receiving any of the damages that they're normally associated with. His first click is pretty great. It actually has charge, which means that they could actually it's pretty much their movement is cut in half. So instead of 9, it would be a 5. I think you round up in Heroclix, so his movement would be a 5, but he can move 5 spaces and then deliver a close combat attack, or I think it's a close combat attack, not a close combat action. So he can't combine this with if it would have had something on the fist, like a cutter on the fist, he wouldn't be able to use that. He could only use a charge and the close combat attack, unless specified in a white bordered ability. Hopefully I'm getting to you guys with this. He also has Indomitable, meaning he could push. So I don't know what's the whole deal with the colossal stamina. Maybe I'm lost in that. I don't know. And he also has Toughness, meaning Toughness, if I recall correctly, is when you were to take damage, you roll a dice, and I think if you roll 5 or 6, you get or no, I think it just naturally you take -1 damage, and that's it. So if you were to be damaged by 3, -1 toughness, you only get damaged twice, and that's it. And I think there's other ones like Indomitable that you do roll a d6 dice, and if you roll a 5 or 6, you could just totally avoid the attack, which is incredible. So let's look at his sculpt, and his I think that sculpt is gonna give me trouble. If it's a bit blurry, it's okay. Come on. If it's a bit blurry, it's okay. I'll be sure to do another video in which he actually pops out much more careful. Let's see if I can. I'm trying my best, but it looks like I can't get him to focus properly. I'll be sure to add an amendment to this video right here, in which I'm actually able to show him a bit more. So yeah, so that's Isaiah Bradley, and great way to start it off. I think it should be who I think it is, but I'm gonna wait and see until I read his actual character card. But we have Citizen V right here, and that is B Battalion, and soldier are his keywords, and real name is John Watkins III. So good thing I did not make that assumption about this character right here. He also has the Living Legend trait, meaning that if you were to get knocked out, you can turn him back to his to the click that he would have been knocked out in. And pretty much you roll a d6 and you heal him the amount of half the amount of squares that you would roll. So you could potentially just go back up to like right here, because in case you notice, he actually has more click dials on his base, but of course he is worth more of a point cost. So this guy is he is worth 75 points, meaning that you put team limits, so you could only assemble like a 300 point team. So that's a good way of parity, of like kind of making the equal playing field. So you could either get a lot of low value pieces, or you could get like a high value piece on your team, and it evens itself out. You know, like meanwhile, like Isaiah Bradley is only 25, but he's he's like, I want to say like 3 clicks less than Citizen V right here, John Watkins III, and shows Thunderbolts number 45. I guess that's a significant appearance for him. He has Living Legend, and he also has a white bordered movement power, which is Stealth with and V-Wing, meaning he could use Charge, Sidestep, and Stealth. So those are 3 different abilities, and he could fly. I think he actually has flight, but he can't carry anyone. So it shows the wings, meaning he could fly. But in case you notice, there's like a little person right there, like a little bathroom man, you know, like the little sign for the bathroom man. It has a 0, meaning he can't carry anyone else. I guess he's not strong enough. He missed arm day, I guess. Hitting in Ego first, that's his flurry attack. That's actually on his first dial as well. And flurry, if I remember correctly, it's pretty much you deliver attacks, like multiple attacks that deal like 1 damage or something to that effect. I don't know. I wish I had my powers and abilities card. I thought it was gonna come with one, but oh well. But I'm pretty sure flurry is like you deliver multiple attacks, and I guess it's I guess every attack that you deliver and you hit, I think it's worth 1 damage rather than the actual printed damage value on it. He also has Adamantium Sword later on, which is a Blade's Claws Fangs. Now, Blade's Claws Fangs, I do remember that's the one that if you successfully deal an attack, you actually could roll a dice, and whatever that lands, that deals penetrating damage. Penetrating damage means it can't be mitigated or anything like that to that effect. Skilled Fighter, Precision Strike, those are pink abilities. I think I was barely getting out of the game when pink abilities were introduced into the game of Heroclix, so I'm not sure quite what Precision Strike is. I guess we're going to both learn it together later on. And of course, he also has Indomitable. He has Combat Reflexes, Born to be Citizen V. Combat Reflexes, if I remember correctly, it's I think +2 if you if someone tries to attack you with a close combat attack, you get +2 to your defense. So rather than have 17 defense, you would have 19 defense, which most of the time the average for Heroclix pieces attack power is like 10 or 11. So that would mean that the person would have to roll a 9 or higher in order to deal damage. And he has Shape Change, Holographic Disguise. Shape Change meaning that if I remember correctly, I think same thing applies. That if I think if you want to be dealt an attack, you had to roll a die first. Yeah, I think that's what it would be. But I don't think you need to be under the cover of like stealth or anything, because I think with stealth it's like completely you cannot attack this person because they're hiding. But I think for shape changes, like you roll a dice, and if you nail a 5 or 6, then you could deliver the damage to the person. That you could actually initiate the attack with the person. And that's all his pieces right there. He looks pretty cool. So that's another one right there. The other one bites the dust. Okay, let's go with the co-star of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let's look at the Winter Soldier piece. Bucky Barnes right here. James Barnes. And yeah. So let's see his trait. His keywords are Avengers, Invaders, World War II, Shield, Thunderbolt, Soldier, Spy. He is worth 75 or 50 points. So okay, so he comes at 2 different point values. That's excellent. I guess I could describe that to you guys. So pretty much his trait is reposition after the shot. So when Winter Soldier makes a range attack after resolutions, move him up to 3 squares. Now the thing is that after resolutions, meaning he doesn't need a hit, he doesn't actually necessarily need to hit. He could just miss the attack. but he moves all the time, so that's pretty great. His other trait is Assembled Avengers. Once per turn, when Winter Soldier hits, after resolutions, you may roll a d6. And pretty much if you roll an 11, if your force has 3 plus friendly characters with the Avengers keyword, remove an action token from Winter Soldier or give an action token to a hit target. Oh, that's pretty dirty right there. Because no matter what, after 2 action tokens, you need to remove them. So it really depends on when or not you want to actually initiate an attack. If your force has 6 plus, do both. That's incredible. And he is a white bordered ability is locating the target, meaning he has running shot, sidestep, and stealth. And then of course he later on in this dial he has trained by Captain America, which is this running shot. And he also has flurry later on. He has precision strike, the perfect shot. I can't take a hit. He has toughness, meaning -1 to any damage that would be dealt to him. Red room train, combat reflexes, meaning if you were to deliver a close combat attack to him, he would get +2. Take my time with this one. Range combat expert, meaning that any damage he deals, it's I think +2. So range combat expert is pretty great if you're able to use it. Perplex, expert excision. Now perplex is such a great power because you're able to bump up the stats of one of your abilities or bump down the stats of one of your opponent's abilities stats. So meaning, like, let's say you have 11 attack and your opponent has 18 defense. You could perplex up either your attack to 12 or you could perplex their defense down to 17. That makes it much more easier for you to roll your dice. Or you could do things differently. You could actually perplex up your damage instead. And I think there's a rule of 3 for perplex and for any other power as well, meaning that you could only do it 3. So it's like if you have 3 characters that could perplex, you could actually bump up the attack of one of those characters, but you could only reach the limit of 3, and that's it. And of course, Captain America Comics 1941, that's one of his notable appearances. Yet it shows a Winter Soldier comic book cover on top, and that's his abilities. And as you can see, his dial. So for instance, a lot of the things, like the white border power, where you could use running shot and stealth, eventually would lead to just him having running shot, and then it would eventually just lead to him having flurry. Same thing for like precision strike. Precision strike eventually would just lead to him having precision strike would just lead him to just having nothing. And then you have toughness that eventually leads to just close combat expert, and then you just have like a range combat expert that leads to perplex, and then finally leads to battle fury. And that's how the game is usually played. As you take damage and your figure kind of evolves, kind of adapts to the situation, so you don't really have all these powers at once. It all depends on what it actually is shown on the dial. So oh man, I feel like I'm selling a used car or something. All right, so that's 3 right there. Let's continue on. Let's finally go with the man with the plan, Captain America, not John Walker, the original Captain America, Steve Rogers himself. Captain America Comics Show number 1. That's definitely not Captain America Comics number 1 though. But definitely a living legend trait as well. So meaning he has the same trait as Isaiah Bradley and Citizen D. As soon as he gets knocked down, you roll a dice and you could recover 3 points up. Almost forgot about the Winter Soldier. So pretty much he has, let's go back. He has 2-point value. So pretty much he's worth 75 and 50 points. If you want to use the 75 version of him, you start off at the first click line. But if you want to use the same piece, but maybe at a less point value, you actually start off at the blue line right there, which would be his 3rd click right there. So. And this Captain America is worth 75 points. And he has he has running shot, and it's called shield toss. He has charge, I don't like bullies, keep fighting, sidestep, super soldier serum, toughness, inspire the team, leadership. Oh, nice. I think if I remember correctly, leadership, you're able to remove action tokens from characters, or you're able to give them actions without actually having to apply an action token to them, something like that. Hit them where it hurts, close combat expert, +2 to the damage if you deal a close combat attack. And his white border ability is follow up. When Captain America hits with a range attack after resolutions, you may place Captain America adjacent to the hit character and then make a close attack. That's freaking sick. So, okay, that's pretty awesome right there. So pretty much if he were to do like a shield toss, and his range right here is 5. So if he has a character that's within 5 squares of the range, he could attack him, and then if he hits, he could actually leave him. He could actually like jump up to them like 5 spaces and then just deal a close combat attack. So double the damage. That's actually a pretty sick attack by Captain America, if I don't say so myself. And the scope is pretty great. And of course, like I said, I do promise that I will record them much better as soon as I just finish this portion of the video. And finally, we get to the 4th piece on here, and or should I say the 5th piece? My bad. The 5th piece on here, and that is Iron Man. And he's wearing like this gold metallic, almost Ultron-esque looking armor, to be honest with you. And of course, his keywords are Avengers, Stark Industries, Armor Scientists. Tabs keywords for Avengers, Invaders, Past Soldier. And of course, his real name is Tony Stark. He is worth 75 and 50 points. So like Bucky Barnes, you could actually start him on different lines, different lines and different clicks on the stains. Notable appearance: Tales of Suspense number 39, which was his first appearance, and that's not Tales of Suspense number 39 though. And of course, he has Avengers, Assembled Avengers, so pretty much the same trait that Bucky had. If you have 3 friendly characters with the Avengers keyword, remove an action token from Iron Man, or give an action token to a hit target. That's still sick. Avengers team player, his white defense border ability is defend and invulnerability, and then of course he has a white bordered damage, and that's here to help with everything Stark Industry has. So he has empower, enhancement, and probability control, and I freaking love probability control. That I remember just from my Metron piece. So prob control meaning that if your opponent successfully has hit you, let's say that they actually do roll a 9 and they're about to deal damage, like, and your character, like, let's say your character is about to get damage, you could be like, nope, prob control, I'll prob it, re-roll that dice. Amazing. It's just, oh, that's such a sick ability, not gonna lie. And he also has adjusted flight pattern, repulsor blast, force blast, meaning that you could just push the character like a few spaces, like adjacent, I think, adjacent to like the damage indicated. So if you could push them against like a wall, you could push them against other character that deals 1 damage. So force blast is actually pretty sick. The suits Bustas Earthbound neutralize. I guess Earthbound meaning that they can't fly at that point. Specialized suits telekinesis, meaning that they could actually pick up objects, because there are objects on the map and you can actually lounge them at opponents. Stark Industries tech and vulnerability, armored suit, toughness, and then system reboot, regeneration. Oh, regeneration, that's another great power to use, because you roll a die, and pretty much the amount that you roll is the amount that you recover. I think same thing, like kind of like I think half of it, like rounded up. So that's how many you will actually roll up. If I remember correctly, I don't remember that part that much well. I'll hit him with the neutralizer. You hit him with, well, you just hit him. That's empower. Another pink damage ability, so I don't really know that much about pink abilities. Patch into my targeting computer enhancement. That's green damage, and then he actually does get prob control later on as well. That's apart from like his white damage border. Just lucky, I guess, and that's his probability control attack. So that's pretty sick. And finally, we ended with the last piece, and that is Hawkeye. And of course, Hawkeye, his keywords are Avengers, Thunderbolts, Martial Artist, real name Clint Barton. He has the Assembled Avengers power, the same one that Bucky had and that Iron Man has. And his white bordered ability, and I find this one funny. It's called Because Boomerang, and pretty much it says that once per turn, when Hawkeye misses with a ranged attack targeting a single opposing character, after resolution, she may make a ranged attack against the same target, modifying attack +1, meaning like it's like a boomerang coming back to see if it actually hits his target. That's pretty sick. He also has crashing through the window, which is running shot. Then we outlast him, which is sidestep. Explosive arrow, which is energy explosion, which meaning that if you attack a certain square on the grid, and I think every square on the side receives 1 damage. Like everybody receives 1 damage if it's a successful attack. just keep taking shots, which is willpower, meaning he because he doesn't have Indomitable, so he actually needs, so later on in his click he would actually get like willpower, meaning that he could actually push, but then that willpower gives out and he actually just gets normal toughness. And of course he has starting the battle in Reds and Bed-Stuy, and that's range combat expert. And that's all the pieces right there. Yeah, and I'm glad I'm slowly trying to get back into the game. I gotta look at my old powers and abilities card. I think if I do another Heroclix video soon, I will go into further detail with the powers and abilities on them. And I'm actually looking forward now that I've actually done this, and now that it's pretty fun. Who knows, I might end up getting a brick, maybe not a modern age brick, but maybe something from the golden age, because it's just a bit more affordable. So yeah, and we'll open them up, because that used to be my favorite part of the game, just opening up bricks and seeing what pieces I can use. So other than that, I'm gonna show you guys footage of the pieces up close, but regardless, other than that, that's it for the video. Thank you guys again for watching this, and peace and love. And I'll try to keep on clicksing, and I'll try to be putting up more clicks content. Oh, that was so hard to say. And yeah, take care, guys. Peace. Yeah. All right. So here we are, taking an up close look at all the pieces. That is Isaiah Bradley right there. And yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of symbols along, but the star means the trait. The wing means the movement power. So that's, for instance, like let's click him up. Let's click him up. So at that point, he could move 8 and 8 spaces. He also has flurry, and then his arm, that hand, you see that's his attack right there, and he has an attack of 10. The shield right there, that's his defense, and the fact that it has like a white sash around it means he could push because he's indomitable. And I think the 16, the yellow 16, well, let's just look at his card right here. The yellow, I guess it looks yellow here, but that's supposed to be his super soldier serum. That's his toughness right there. So yeah, so that's pretty much his pieces. Of course, you just click it, so it's like counterclockwise. You turn it counterclockwise until it reaches KO, and that's when he's out of the game. And that's the skull for Isaiah Bradley right there. And then we'll look at the skull for Citizen V right there. And as you can see, his powers are more or less the same. He has no range. And on the side, the little, kind of like the star right there, like the little comic star, that's actually the damage that the character would deal. So yeah. And the blue right there is shape change, and usually there's like markings to designate like how much the piece is worth and from what set it actually comes from and what number it is. So yeah. And here is Bucky Barnes. Now Bucky Barnes actually has a range of 8, and usually that applies to him being like a marksman, you know, really good with guns, really good at shooting assassinations and what have you. And as you can see, he has 2 point designations right there in the back of his click, and of course that's it. And you can see that the blue line starts right there in case you want to play him at 50 points. So yeah, that's Bucky Barnes right there. Now let's look at Captain America. Such a great piece for Cap, and he actually has 1 lightning bolt. If he were to have 2, he could actually target 2 characters, but I think once you target more than 1 character, you could only deal, like, either distribute the damage between them or deal deal just 1 damage to each piece. I forgot exactly what it was. Yeah, and he actually has an Avengers on the back of his base, meaning because he has the Avengers keyboard. That's a team power as well. So yeah, and here is Iron Man. And Iron Man actually has a flight symbol rather than like a boot, because he could actually fly. And yeah, for the most part. It's looking to be pretty standard right here. I can't believe Iron Man can't target more than one character for this piece, but then again, if he could target multiple characters, I think he would be worth more points, right? And here we have Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and actually he has 2 lightning bolts, meaning he could actually target 2 pieces, and he has a plus, and usually the plus, like on his card, it actually tells you what he has a plus over. Let's see. He has a plus for. Doesn't state exactly what he has a plus over, or maybe I'm just not looking good enough. But normally it's a plus. I think that's what. Oh, okay. So yeah. So right here it's a green, that's hindering terrain. So he has a plus over hindering terrain. So he could just ignore hindering terrain when he's actually targeting characters. So that's what the plus stands for. And yeah, and let's just look at all the cards again. It's Isaiah Bradley right here. Just a close look at it. And here we go with Cap. There we go. Here we go with Citizen V, who actually is. Good thing I didn't say, because I thought, because Citizen V is obviously another person that uses that alias. Citizen V is a Baron Zemo, Helmet Zemo. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't state that. Oh, Zemo's in the setting. He's also in the show on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So yeah. And finally, Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. And yeah. That's it. Until the next one, click on.